Hey guys, welcome to another video. If you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you, love having you here. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Amy Renee. I'm here to teach you how to slay. Okay, oh my god, I just hit my lights. That was a lot, I'm sorry. Okay, for real though, today we are going to be doing a how to beat your face one-on-one class. We're going to start off with the mug. We're going to start off with base foundation. Basically, the idea for this video is my first video that I came out with was a really in-depth tutorial on like a full beat face. And I got a few comments and messages and basically input that it was too much to take in at once. Like it was just a whole lot. People felt overwhelmed, especially people who don't really do their makeup. They were like, no, sis, like, no. They stopped like 10 minutes in. And so I realized it was like really overwhelming. And so I figured, why not do a little mini series and break down the different steps so we can make this maybe a little more digestible, a little easier, and you can master one thing at a time. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Today we're starting off with the base. So basically foundation, it's like laying the concrete for the house of makeup that you're building on top of your face. Does that make sense? Probably not. But anyways, so that's where we're going to start. So let's do the damn thing. Okay, so step one for your base makeup is make sure your face is clean. If it's not, go wash it. I'll wait. And then once that's done, you need to at least make sure that you moisturize. If you have some serums, pop those on. Great. At least put on moisturizer. Let it sit in for like 15 minutes. And then you're good to go. So after that, we are going to start off with a primer. This can do a number of things. Basically, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to smooth out your skin, help your foundation last longer, and provide something for it to stick to that isn't necessarily your skin. For me, I have really oily skin, and so I tend to go for primers that say like, this one says matte or like mattifying, something like that. So the one I really like is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Primer Stick. This one is also really affordable, which is why I like it. The other one I really like is the Benefit Porefessional. That's like my other favorite one. I don't know, I didn't feel like spending the money on it. If you have really dry skin, you need to look for primers that say, you know, like moisturizing, stuff like that. Maybe more like a water-based primer, because sometimes if you put on these mattifying primers, it's gonna make your dry skin more dry, and yeah, you don't want that. And if you have normal skin, I mean, you can kind of try both, see what works for you. The other thing you want to make sure that you do, this is a big rule, not a lot of people know this actually. You want to make sure that your primer and your foundation have the same base. So if you have a silicone-based primer, you should have a silicone-based foundation. If you have a water-based primer, you need to have a water-based foundation. How you can tell, first off, is reading the ingredients. The other thing is silicone, you'll notice tends to have that kind of like silky feel to it. Like if you rub it between your fingers, it feels kind of silky, I guess is maybe a good word. Water-based feels like watery. Silicone tends to kind of stick more. Watery tends to kind of run and dry with like almost like a tacky finish. You want to make sure those match. The reason is because they don't mix well together. When you have a silicone-based primer and then a water-based foundation sitting on top of it, it can get like patchy and like it just won't blend out right. Or if you have a water-based primer and a silicone-based foundation, that tends to look a little bit better, but your foundation may not last as long. So try and make sure that they match. If you are someone who say has oily skin like me, I buy a lot of like mattifying stuff. Those tend to kind of have the same base, so generally you're good. If you buy, you know, a mattifying primer and then a mattifying foundation, you're good. Same thing with dry skin. If you're gonna buy the moisturizing primer and you buy a moisturizing foundation, you're probably fine. So don't like freak out about it, but it's just a good thing to know. So after after that long ass rant. To start off, this is my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Primer. I am just gonna take this, I take this in the T-zone, so like forehead, nose, chin. I mostly take this in the areas that I have bigger pores and I get oily, because what this is gonna do is it's mattifying, so it's gonna help control the oil. And then it also is silicone based, so it's gonna help kind of fill in my pores and make it look like they're not ginormous. I'm just gonna put it where I need it, basically. And I'm actually trying out a new foundation today, so I hope this doesn't suck, because then this video is gonna suck. So I am gonna be trying out the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. Matches the primer. I got the color Nude Ivory, because I'm really pale right now. I don't know if this is my color, I hope it is. Oh, and it's got a little, like, a spatula. That's cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna get some of this on the back of my hand. So we're gonna take our foundation. I am gonna be showing everything today using a beauty sponge. You can get one of these at Walmart, Target, Sephora, Ulta, whatever. These ones, this is the Real Techniques one. I think they're like $8. The Real Beauty Blender is like 20 or something like that. These are great. It's not wet to the point where I can squeeze water out of it, but it's saturated. So then I'm just gonna pick some up on my beauty blender, and I'm just gonna start bouncing this into the skin. And like I said in my first video, with these products, I always go in bouncing motions. I try not to drag, because the sponge and that dragging motion just really tend to not work well together. It tends to just pull the product off. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna take the foundation under the chin and down onto the neck. Honestly, like I feel like it's damn near impossible to find a foundation that exactly matches your skin tone. Just cause, you know, it's like they can only make so many shades, and people are all kind of undertones and all that kind of stuff, and you just, I don't know. Most of my foundations are really close, but they're never like exact. And so you want to make sure that you're taking it down the chin, down the neck, even onto the chest sometimes, because you want it to all look cohesive. Otherwise you have that line like around your chin, and people can clearly tell that you're wearing makeup, especially if it's like maybe, you know, maybe it's a shade off of what your actual skin color is. Like, that is the dead giveaway. And so if you want like a really seamless look where it's like, oh, she's wearing makeup but it looks like it's her skin, then you want to make sure that you're taking it down the neck, down the chest a little bit, and even on the ears. That's the little trick. If your hair is up, put foundation on your ears too. Okay, so now foundation is done. I am going to go to the next step, which is contouring. So contouring is how you trick people into thinking you have perfect bone structure. I love it. If you're someone who kind of, you know, it wants to err on the side of maybe lighter makeup, this is a step maybe you can skip. But today we're doing like a full beat down, like that. We're going full beat. So this is a cream contour. I also will be using a powder contour, but I like to start off with a cream contour because cream products tend to look like they're coming from within. Like the way it blends, it looks like, oh, maybe that's just how she actually looks. Whereas powder kind of sits on top and looks like you're wearing makeup. Cream kind of is like, oh, is it her natural skin? Is it makeup? I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying. I'm gonna be using my Hoola Quickie Contour Stick. This isn't, I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't run out and buy this for cream contour. I don't have a great suggestion, but this works. It's okay. You can also just like buy a foundation shade that's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 shades darker than your skin tone and use that. So I'm gonna take this on all the areas of my face that I want to create a shadow effect. So we're gonna start off with the cheekbones. This is how I trick people into thinking I have cheekbones. So we're gonna find where my cheekbone actually is. So this is like where my cheekbone ends actually. So then we're gonna take that up a little bit to create the illusion that our cheekbones are actually all the way up here. My rule of thumb is that I start where the top of my ear meets my face. And then I take it and I pull it in the direction of the corner of my mouth. I don't put all the way into the corner of my mouth. That's like, it's a little, I don't know. It's like cutting, it feels like cutting your face. It's like too dramatic. So top of the ear and stop right, I don't know, 3/4 of the way in. So the forehead, I'm just gonna kind of trace the perimeter of my forehead because I don't want it to look as gigantic. The jawline, I'm also going to trace out the jawline. And then the nose. So for the nose, you want to find where your bridge naturally is and just go slightly inside of that. Also, if you have a really short nose, I would take the contour up into the eyebrow area. If you have a long nose, it's actually better to kind of keep it away from your eyebrows because it gives it a longer effect. And if you already have a really long nose, why would you want to do that? And then we're going to take our beauty blender, and again, we're just going to bounce this into the skin. We're going to try and keep it. So like with this side, I'm going to try and bounce it, and I don't want this to go any lower than it is. So I'm going to kind of bounce and pull and bounce upwards. If you guys can see that. So we're pulling that shadow up. Okay, and then same thing on the other side. We're gonna bounce it, but I'm gonna kind of hold my sponge in a way where it's just I have kind of an upward motion with my bounce. The reason you don't want to take your contour lower is one, it's gonna drag that shadow down. It's gonna make your cheekbones not look as snatched. And also, like if you have too much, like it's not precise, kind of like precise of a line enough, if that makes sense, it starts to look muddy. That's when when people get comments like, oh, your contour looks muddy, it's probably because you pulled it down too far. And I'll also give you another tip later to show you how to keep your contour from looking muddy. So same thing with the forehead. I'm just gonna blend this out, make sure I'm really going into the hairline and then pulling it down onto the forehead a little bit as well. It's really important to get into the hairline because if you don't, basically you're gonna have like this really white line around your hairline. And that's not cute. Okay, and then the nose. If you have a really small beauty blender, this is a good place to use it on the nose because then you can really make this blend really precise. I don't know why I haven't gotten one yet. I just haven't. But what I do is I just take my beauty blender. You guys can see it's a little dirty, and I just squeeze it in like that so it creates like this really small area, and then I blend out with that. Again, I'm avoiding pulling this up into my eyebrow area because my nose is on the longer side and I don't want to make it look even longer. And then the jaw, just gonna lightly blend that in. I try to keep the jaw contour like really where I put it. I don't like to drag it down or drag it up too much because then I just feel like it almost starts to look like a 5 o'clock shadow. But you can pull it up a little bit onto the chin, or a little bit up this way. It'll just create more of like a snatched jawline. Okay, so now you can see that my face is starting to have, you know, a little bit more shape, a little more definition. So now that we have added some darkness to our face, created some shadows, we want to go in and we want to highlight and bring some brightness back to our face. The purpose of this is to bring forward the areas that you would like to bring forward. It's that kind of like shadows and lightness. That's how you change the way the structure of your face looks. So I'm gonna use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. If you guys watched my first video, I got a new one. I went and bought a new one. I was like literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. It was really sad. And I have my LA Girl Pro Conceal in Ferris. It's like almost white. The areas that I like to bring forward on my face, and you probably will too because this is how almost everybody does it, is under the eyes, a little bit on the forehead, bridge of the nose, Cupid's bow. Some people like to do the chin. Personally, I don't. My chin kind of like rounds out like this, so I don't like to make it look bigger. If you have a small chin, that would be a good place to put some highlight. And then I also do some right under here, so I'll just show you guys. Oh, also I do the jaw, but you'll see. So the way I'm gonna work with this is I'm gonna get my setting powder ready. This is the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. Basically what this is going to do is it is going to take my liquid products and dry them down onto my face so they don't crease and they don't move. So this stuff, you get the Tarte Shape Tape, which I would highly recommend. It's amazing, but it dries down very fast. And if you do not set it quickly, when you're moving your face around, it'll start to develop creases. And that's just, no, that's not cute. We don't like that. So what I'm gonna be doing is, especially under my eyes as I'm doing this, you're gonna see me kind of set as I go, but I'll talk you through that. So we're gonna start off with our Tarte Shape Tape. I got this in Fairlight Neutral. I'm gonna take this down the side of my nose, like this. Pull it out under the eye like that. And then I'm gonna just kind of fill that area in. I'm gonna make like almost like a triangle, but the point of my triangle is gonna be right next to my nose. So just like so. Because this is a little bit darker than I want it to be, I am gonna go in with my LA Girl Pro Conceal and add a little layer of that on top to lighten this up. And I'm going to take my Beauty Blender and blend this in quickly before it dries. The reason I take it up on the side of the nose and kind of concentrate more of it like closer to my nose and the inside of my face is that is actually a little trick to make your nose look smaller. Like having the lightness of your under eye blend into the side of your nose makes your nose look smaller. And also I just find that concentrating the lightness to really the center of the face, I think it just looks prettier. I think that's kind of how Makeup by Mario, Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, does makeup on, well, Kim and his clients, and I think it's so pretty. I don't know, it's how I like to do mine. That's the other thing with makeup. Experiment, figure out what you like. So like I said, I'm gonna set this quickly because I don't want it to crease under my eye. So I am taking a separate Beauty Blender. It's damp, not soaking wet, and I'm going to dip this into my setting powder. Just get a little bit on there. And I'm gonna give this another quick blend. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set this to ensure that I don't have any creasing, or as little creasing as possible. Creasing is normal. Small amounts of creasing are normal, especially as we get older, because it's like it's skin, it moves, it's very normal, but we can definitely minimize that by setting our products quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so now we have the under eyes. It's looking very bright. So now I'm gonna take this on the rest of the areas where I would like to bring back some lightness to my face. So for me, I'm gonna come in and go along the jawline here. That's kind of to break up these two contours and keep my contour from looking muddy like we were talking about earlier. I'm also gonna go under the lip right here and above the lip. Bringing light to these areas is gonna make the lips look fuller. I'm gonna take a really small amount down the center of the nose. And then I'm gonna take this on my forehead as well. I'm not gonna go very far at my forehead. I'm gonna concentrate it mainly like here and a little bit over the eyebrows because I want brightness again in the center of the face, but I don't like to take it up too high because then I'm just making my forehead look bigger, which, why would I do that? Again, I'm gonna layer the Pro Conceal on there to lighten this up just a little bit. And we are going to blend it out. Okay, so now I have all the highlight blended out, and you can kind of start to see where the shadows and where the light and all this kind of dimension that we're trying to create is going. I know it looks a little dramatic right now. That's okay. This setting powder that I'm using is going to kind of put like a soft veil of color over, so everything's gonna look just like a little bit less intense. So I'm again going in with the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. This one is my favorite. It's a little expensive, but honestly I haven't found a setting powder that I like more than this. So yeah, sorry I don't have a little affordable suggestion, but honestly it's worth the money. So I'm just taking this on that damp beauty sponge and I'm gonna bounce this into the skin. The reason that I use a damp beauty sponge to do this is it literally melts the powder into your skin. Like I feel like it gives so much more of a skin-like finish. You don't get as much of that like powdery, cakey look. And also I think because it literally does like melt it into the face, it seems like it makes my foundation last longer, or like my whole base last longer, and I don't get as oily. So that's why I do it this way. All right, so you can see that took away some of like the harshness of the contour and the highlight, and it looks just like a little more muted, a little more like skin, I guess. The next step is I'm just gonna lightly mist my face with, I use the Mario Badescu skincare spray. It's the same thing I use for my skincare routine, but I just take a light misting of this over my face basically to take off any of that extra powdery finish and really melt all the products together. And then I take a fan. One, because it looks really extra. We'd love to have a fan moment. And two, because it dries it faster and I don't like to wait. We're impatient around here, okay. My hair, I feel like looks so ratchet from like that angle, Jesus. I thought it looked cute, but like, oh, okay, whatever. So next step is for me is going to be bronzing. I like to use my Too Faced Little Black Book of bronzers. I love it. And I'm gonna go in with the shade that is so caked that it has been covered by product. It's this one here. It's like a medium bronzer. I don't know, use whatever bronzer you want, honestly. There are a lot of really good bronzers. Like with the setting powder, I can only find one I like. I like most bronzers, so you literally use whatever. So I'm just gonna take, this is an old Eco Tools brush. It's just like a big, fluffy, kind of domed brush, but it's pretty dense. Like it's not, like this brush is all like kind of fluffed out. This is dense. So I like something a little bit more dense, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pat that in there and tap off excess on the brush. And I'm gonna start just above where we put our contour line and blend from the outside of the face in. The purpose of this is to bring some warmth to the face. It also gives you something to blend your contour into. To me, I feel like bronzer is almost like the supporting role for my contour. Like the contour is like, you know, the main actress, but it like really can't do its job without this bronzer to blend into, at least for me. And same thing, I'm gonna take this on the forehead. I'm gonna take it down a little bit further than I did with my contour. Okay, I'm also gonna take some, a little bit just along the jaw, and then I am going to take this down the neck as well. I just like to bronze up the neck if I have bronzer on my face. And I will also usually take a little bit down the chest as well. So that's bronzer. So the next step is going to be powder contour. Again, if you're a person who likes a little bit lighter style of makeup, skip this if you want. I wouldn't, but you can. So I'm gonna go in. This is, it's falling apart. This is my NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. I'm going in with the shade Sculpt right here, where there is almost none. So I'm gonna take this on a Luxie 1010 small contour brush. It looks like this. And I'm just basically gonna go over the areas that we laid our cream contour. And I'm gonna start from the outside and work in. You wanna concentrate most of like the darkness of the product towards the outside of your face. Okay, so you can see I'm just starting where we had our cream contour, and I'm blending this in circular motions. And I'm stopping right about here because I don't want to pull this all the way to my mouth. Yeah, you're looking so notched. Okay, so for the forehead, I'm really going to concentrate this more along the hairline. Okay, next I'm gonna hit the jaw. I'm gonna go really light on the jaw because our cream contour is still, it's still there. It's still pretty like dark even after the setting powder, so I'm just gonna go pretty light. But you know, we wanna make sure that we look like we got that snatchery. Snatchery. Is that a word? Snatchery. It is now. Last thing we're gonna do contour my nose, and I'm not gonna use this big brush. I'm gonna take this, I don't remember where this is from. I think this is an Urban Decay brush. It came in one of my palettes. It has like this fluffy dome end, and then it has, it's like, it's fluffy, but it's almost like squared off, and it's really dense. I don't know if you can see that. So this is what I use. You just wanna use like a small brush. Like small, medium-sized brush. I wouldn't use anything too dense because then you're gonna get like a line and you really gotta blend. So I try to use something a little bit fluffy and it's on the smaller side. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of product, and I seriously mean a little bit. You can overdo a nose contour so fast. So I'm gonna go over the area where we had our cream contour, pull it down. I don't know if you guys can see that, like I barely picked up product and it looks that dark. Same thing on the other side. And then I'm also, this is a little trick I like to do. I take a little bit and I just put it on the bottom of my nose right here. And because I have a long nose, this makes it look shorter because it creates a shadow right here. So I'm just gonna kind of wipe off any product that I have And I'm just gonna go ahead and try and blend this out. So now we are all snatched. We have a completely different bone structure. So next step is going to be, for me, the next step is going to be reverse contouring. Now, if you are new to makeup, you are probably like, what the f did you just say? You're like, we just did all that work to contour and now you're telling me we gotta reverse it? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. No, this is literally just the step where we get to clean up our contour and make it look sharp, because there are going to be no muddy contours around here. Okay, so I am gonna be taking this little powder puff. You can also, actually, I would recommend getting those little like triangle sponges, like the white triangle sponges that come in like the 8,000 million packs for like $1. Just go grab one of those. It works perfect. It'll give you those really clean lines. So I'm gonna go in again with my Mercier translucent setting powder. I'm going to trace a line under my contour to kind of erase the part that's lower than I want it to be. So I'm gonna kind of go up almost towards the top of the ear, take this down and drag it into the corner of my mouth. Just like that. And I'm taking quite a bit of powder because I really wanna make this a good strong line. And then I'm just gonna pull that powder down and we're gonna leave it just for a little bit. Same thing on the other side. Aren't we cute? Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing on the nose. So, remember when we took the concealer just a little bit up the nose? That's what we're gonna do with the powder as well. We're gonna come down the side of the nose. And then we're gonna take this powder and blend it down into the eye area. Sorry, you guys probably could not see literally any of that. Let me do it again on the other side. So, we're gonna take this down the side of the nose and then blend this down into the eye area. This is going to further that illusion because if you have the same color here as you do here, it looks like it's kind of like one flat area. And so it makes your nose almost like look like it starts where the contour is. So it's just another illusion to make your nose look smaller. It's a lot of trickery around here. And then I am also just gonna put a little extra under the eyes just to really brighten them up. I'm also gonna take this really tiny Morphe M431 brush. It's like a bullet crease blending brush. It's got a really small point to it, which is why I'm using it. And I'm just gonna take this and draw a little line down my nose. Also just gonna take a little bit up on the forehead here, like a really little bit. I don't worry a whole lot about making sure the highlighted portion of my forehead is perfect because, I don't know, I just like a small forehead, I guess. So I'm gonna leave it on for like a minute. And then I'm gonna take this Sephora, the Pro Contour, it's number 79. It's just, honestly, it's like a domed fluffy brush. It's really little. I just like to use it to dust off powder. I don't use it for contouring. So we're just gonna go ahead and dust off that extra powder. And can you see like what that did for our contour? Like it just really gives it like that sharp line. So we don't have that muddy looking contour that's kind of bleeding onto the rest of our face. Same thing with the nose. Can you like, it really just, I feel like makes the nose look so much smaller. Again, because I just put a ton of powder on my face, I'm gonna go in with my Mario Badescu spray. I'm gonna give myself a spritz to melt this all together. Oh, I did it the wrong way. Ah! I quit. Next step, we're almost there, y'all. I promise. Where did I put that? Blush. My fave right now is by Seraphim Botanicals. It's the Healthy Glow Rose Gold Blush. It is this color. It's this nice, like, kind of muted pink with gold flecks in it. I think it's so pretty. I never hear anybody talk about this blush. I also got a new brush.
we're gonna try out for this today. I want it to fluff out. It's like a, what do they call it? It's the Morphe M581. It's supposed to be like a precision fluffy brush. I'm just gonna take some of this on here. I'm gonna tap out the excess a little bit on the brush. And I just kind of go onto the apples of my cheek and not really anywhere else. Well, that's a lie. We'll see. Oh God. Oh sis. Oh, you done it to yourself. Jesus, take the wheel. I didn't realize this brush was that densely packed. Now we're gonna talk about blending out. So I'm gonna take my Sephora brush. We are going to blend her, cause, whew. That's okay. I'm okay with that. One thing about blush, if it's a little intense at first, that's okay. Leave it a little more intense than you're comfortable with. It's the first thing that's gonna fade off of your makeup. So let's try this again. That is much better with less product. I also sometimes like to add a little blush to my temples. I added too much again, great. I don't know why, I think it looks cute. Okay, and then again, one more spritz. So that is sort of the bulk of the base makeup. We do have one more step, which is everybody's favorite step. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup off camera, and I will be right back for the finishing touches. All right, y'all. So while I was out, I was just, putting together this really natural, everyday sort of look. Now, I wanted to do an Instagram-ish look today, so I'm sorry if I'm scaring any of you, but you'll see it on the gram. So we're on to the last step of our base makeup, which is, I think, everybody's favorite, highlighting. The purpose of this, again, is to bring light to certain areas of the face. It reflects light off certain areas to, again, make maybe your cheekbones look higher, your nose look slimmer, makes you look shiny and beautiful. And honestly, I just want to douse myself in it on an everyday basis. So I'm going to be using my Ofra highlighter in Star Island. Just go in with like a small fluffy eyeshadow brush, dip it in the pan. We're gonna go cheekbone. Oh, yes. Cheekbone. And my hair, well, I've been filming or been doing my makeup has just like progressively been getting more ratchet, so just ignore it. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit above the eyebrow. And then I'm gonna take that Morphe M431 brush we used earlier to powder our nose, and I'm gonna take this, we go Cupid's bow. And we're gonna go draw a tiny little line down the nose. About, I don't know, 2/3 of the way down. And we're gonna do a little dot, tiny dot. You can see that really makes the nose look snatched. We're gonna go inner corners of the eyes. And I'm also gonna go under the brow bone. All right, y'all, and that is the finished base makeup. I know the rest of the makeup is really intense, but just focus on the base for a minute. So that is the finished base. So yeah, there is the start, the cement on which to lay your foundation. Oh, I forgot. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna set the face with this Urban Decay All-Nighter Spray. I like this. I also really like the Morphe setting spray, and it is way more affordable, and the mist is better actually, so I would recommend that one more, but I'm out, so this is just gonna really cement this makeup on our face so it doesn't move anywhere. Those girls you see at the bars at 3 a.m. with makeup melting on their face forgot their setting spray. So y'all, that is that. That is
the foundation routine, my base makeup routine. That will kind of give you the starting point to do any kind of makeup look you want, whether it's something kind of crazy like this or something, you know, maybe a little bit more toned down and neutral. If you like this video, don't forget to like, leave me a comment, ask me any questions you guys have, anything you need like clarification on, or if you just want to say hi. I would love to chat with you guys. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get notified every time I post, and don't forget to follow me on all my other social media profiles. I will link those in the description below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!